is data validation? And why do we need to do data validation? By default, you can type anything into any of those cells. You know that?
Yes,
now,
sir.
Data validation, sometimes we want to restrict the kind of data that is entered into either a cell or a group of cells. So data validation helps you to do that. For instance, now, select A1 to A10 under your sheet. Very good, you selected it. Now, click on data on the data ribbon. Very good. On the data ribbon, where you have data tools, look at where you have data tools, you see data validation. And data validation there has
Hello?
see flash fill, remove duplicate, and you see data validation. Very good. So click, and it has another drop down, 3 of them. Data validation, invalid data, clear validation circle dialog box. Click on the dialog box.
I cannot hear you, sir.
Have you clicked on it?
I cannot hear you.
Click on the data validation. Click on it. That one, yeah. So when you click on it, what do you notice?
There's a
It gives you a
box.
dialog box.
Yes.
What is the title of that dialog box?
Data validation.
Very good. So you have 3 tabs: settings, input message, and error alert. You have 3 tabs there: settings, input message, and error alert. Then the next one that follows is validation criteria. Allow any value. By default, it's any value that is accepted. So let's assume you want to put in only values that are between 20 and 100. You want to put in whole numbers. You know there is a difference between whole numbers and integer. Whole number is 10. 10.5 is decimal number. So click on that drop down where you have any value. So click on whole numbers, not decimal. Decimal and whole numbers are different. Whole numbers are number without decimal places. Decimals are number with decimal places. For instance, 10.5 is decimal. 10 is whole numbers. 20.5 is decimal. 20 is whole number. Good. So data between, very good. So minimum type 20 and maximum type 100. And click OK. Very good. Now, you will discover that you selected just cell A1 to A10. So the validation, data validation you have just set now will only affect those cells alone. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So put your cursor now in A1. And type 10 and press enter. What do you notice?
Because it's not up to 20, so it's saying it doesn't match the data validation restrictions defined.
Very good. So it displays an error message to you. Before, by default, any cell in any Excel sheet can take any value. But with this data validation now, the data between A1 and A10 must conform to the rule that you have just set in your data validation. So click cancel here and type 20. When you type 20, it will accept it. Press enter. Type 100. It will accept it. Press enter. Type 101. It's going to flag you an error message. It is above the limit that you set. Click on cancel and type 50. It will take it. Press enter. Now type 50.5 in A4. Do you still see the error message? 50.5 is between 20 and 100, but you selected whole numbers, which means you don't want any number with decimal places. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Correct that 50.5 to any number that falls within the criteria and see what will happen. Yes, click on cancel, good, and type any number that fits in between your specified. Very good. Do you have an idea of what data validation is now?
I think it's a premeditated instruction given to the system.
Excel sheet to determine the kind of data
data sets that
accepted into either a cell or a group of cells. Is that fine?
So
now we have not finished. Let A1 to A10 again. You know, that was the same data set we selected before.
yes, sir.
Now, what is it telling you now? Look at it. What's the message is telling you now? Read it.
Use the quick analysis tool to quickly and easily analyze your data with some of Excel most useful tools, such as charts.
It's one of the new features in 365. That's not what we want now. So go back to data validation. Go to the data and go to data tools and click on data validation. It gives you a drop down and click on data validation. Very good. Now, do you see where you have error alerts? Click on the tab where you have error alerts. You will discover that the error alert it gives you is system generated. Are you with me? So let's change this error alert to the one you can control. So the style is top, which is fine. So title, on that title, put warning. Then in the error message, you can type, you have typed in a wrong message. Please be guided or contact the administrator. You have typed in a wrong message. Please be guided or contact the administrator. Very good. So when you are done with that, you can put in OK. No, it's stop, leave it as stop. Now, let's see the effect of that. Take your cursor to cell A8. Type in a data that does not conform with your data validation rule. Very good. What do you see as your error message? You can see that the title of that error message is warning.
Yes, sir.
And what you see in that place is the message you type. So which means if you don't want the system message, you can decide the message that the system will show as an error message if a wrong entry is made. If an entry that contradicts your data rules, your data validation rule is made, you can choose the message you want the system to display. And what you have done is exactly how to get it done. Do you get that?
Yes, sir.
Good. So you can try, retry, so that you can put in the right values. Yes, retry will allow you to put in the right value. Cancel will clear what you have there before. So you can type in a proper value. Very good. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Another thing that I will need to teach you, select A1 to A10 again. And click on data and data validation again. Let's have the data validation dialog box come up again. Very good. Now we've seen what we have in settings. We've seen what we have in input message. We've seen what we have in error alert. So click on input message and let me tell you what that does. Input message, in case you want to give people some little insight of what you expect, you can put that in input message. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So on the title, you can just say hint. Let the title be hint. Then in the message, you can put only whole numbers between 20 and 100 are allowed in this cell. Only whole numbers. Look at your capitalization and correct it. Only whole numbers between 20 and 100 are allowed in this cell. In that sense, you are giving people guidance. You don't need to use all of them at the same time. Sometimes, by virtue of the sensitivity of the data, you might not want to give people an idea of what you expect. Peradventure, you have trained the people that should put in the data and you know they should know what they expect. So in case of intruders or people who just want to enter anything, you might not want to give them a hint. So this one might not be necessary. But in case you think you need to give them a hint, peradventure, you have formatted each section of the worksheet and you want them to have guidance as regard the kind of data that you should put in. This one will be very useful for you. So you can click OK. Let's see how it works. Now, take your cursor to A10. Just click on A10. Do you see the way it works now?
Yes, sir.
The hint is the title. So anytime, anywhere you place your cursor between that A1 to A10, it will tell you this. Put your cursor in A11, you discover that you won't see it.
Yes.
Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
But anywhere between A1 to A10, if you put your cursor there, you have that hint.
Sure.
So try it on any of A1 to A10, you have that hint.
Yes, sir.
Is that clear?
Very clear, sir.
Now, another thing we're going to do with data validation before we look at something else. Another thing we're going to do with data validation before we look at something else, select B1 to B10. Select B1 to B10. Very good. Go to data validation again. Have you clicked on data tools, very good. Go to settings. You will discover that your input message here is blank. Your error alert will be blank because it's a different location you select. And this location you select by default is also any value. So I want to teach you how you can use data validation to create a. Sometimes when you are putting entry data, you want the system to give you options of what you should select instead of you to type it yourself. So you can also use data validation to do list. So click on the allow any value, click on that dialog box and select list. Now let me explain that to you. You can put whole number, you can put decimal, you can put date. Click on it, you can put date, you can put a text length. Text length means words that is just 5 digits. For instance, if you phone number, Nigerian phone number, which is 11 digit GSM number, you can just say you want a text length of 11 number. And under that custom, you can do formatting. of the kind of number you want for each digit. That will be what you learn at advanced stage. But for now, just have a better understanding of this data validation and little things that you can do. Then at advanced stage, you now learn how you can do some little programming to be so specific about even the kind of number you want. Where you have 080, if O doesn't start, it won't take it. If O is not the third digit, it won't take it. So you can do that high level of restriction. But that is not to be taken now. So let's just do list and we'll be done with data validation for now. So click on list. There are two ways of doing list, but I will guide you with just one for now. Then later on, we can look at the second one. Click on list. Very good. So you'll be expected to put the list. Two things are expected. You can type in the list directly or put in a source where you have the list. So type different states in Canada and separate each of them with a like 5 or 6 in that place where you have source. Yeah, do that. Yeah, Vancouver, comma. You put a comma after each of them. Don't put space, so comma. Okay. Comma. Comma. So type 2 more. After the last one, don't put a comma. Good. Very good. And click OK. So go to anywhere B1 to B10 now. Try from B1. Automatically, when you click on B1, you see what happened.
It's a drop down.
And that drop down consists of the list you type in the same order.
Yes, sir.
Make an attempt to type something else apart from that list. And press enter. What do you notice?
Warning message.
An error message, just like you have before. So you must select from those options. Very good. The next one. So between B1 to B10, you have that there. Do you get that?
Yes, sir.
So try 1 or 2 more cells. So you understand what data validation is now.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So that is data validation in Excel. That is data validation in Excel.